quite a bit. There we go. Nice. Okay. Always have problems with that. Sometimes I do have problems with that. So today is the day before New Year, and I do want to do something still this year. And there's a new game coming out next semester, next quarter. And that game, if I quickly go look at it, it's called Starbase. I already have it on my wish list. So this game. And this is a hybrid voxel vertex based MMO, which you can build ships, mine resources, build outposts, build stations, fight for those things, like all the lot on it. And it's a really detailed, it's not like your normal Minecraft 1 meter by 1 meter blocks. Voxels, it's an actual very, like, I think centimeter, 1 centimeter is one voxel. You can see it here. There's a lot more detail, guns and everything. They have a lot in it. Now, I think if we scroll down a little bit, I need to go find YOLOL. YOLOL not mention it? Say what now? Okay. But so let me just then quickly go to the wiki. This will do a lot of start base wiki, because there's a lot of information on that wiki. Okay, and then so what they have is that they have a lot of spaceships and cannons and weapons and all this stuff. But if we go to the devices and machines, there's a lot of devices, And then if you go all the way down, I think it's all the way down, maybe not. Here we have it. I think if I click on the YOLO, you have YOLO, which is a programming language that can control and manage electrical devices. So how this works is, so if you have a node, or how is it called? Actually, quickly look something up. Somebody made this, and I think I can get it pretty easily. If that's it. Starbase, where's Starbase? So, there. So, you have this. This is basically it. Let's see, you have 20 lines in total. And you can only have 70 characters per line. This is basically... Okay, and that's the loader. That's saving. Okay, that makes it a lot more easier. This preview image, yeah, okay, that's fine. So this is the editor from in-game. This is, I found it on the forums a little bit earlier today. Okay. And the main fun thing about this is you can change anything practically. So how the best way to describe on how these machines work is, so for example, if I go, I'm probably gonna put this here and put our code like over here-ish. Also, I want to enable the character. Need to open this for again. Also, how did I sleep yesterday or today? Also one of my questions. I haven't looked at it yet. I probably thought I slept a lot. Oh, I slept a lot today. Wait, I only slept for 5 hours? You're really? Oh, it's a really bad day then. Okay. Either way, it's fine. Now I need Trigger Studio, and then I can put this position that it needs to be at. I'm just gonna get in the way of some stuff, but hey, it's fine. I hope it auto connects to my PC. It should practically auto connect. Come on. And by the way, I do not own the game. The game is at the moment in early access, or not in early access, it's gonna be in early access. And it's, how do you call it? It's in closed alpha at the moment, and it's not so good. Okay, there we go. Why are you not connecting to my PC? Is it not 80 anymore? Be 80, right? Check settings. Ah, yeah, that will help. There we go. Characters back. I also will open the Twitch app to see if something is wrong with everything else on that side. Oh, not the creator dashboard. My channel. Yes. There we go. Okay, everything looks fine. That's fine then. So these code files, as we call them, so these YOLOL files are actual plates in game. So maybe I should go to YouTube and show you the Starbase YOLOL. The feature, yeah, this one.
Hello everyone and welcome to another Starbase video.
So
this video isn't.
As you can see here, you have these plates, just like these. And you can put them in the chip sockets or in the modular device racks, and they can have, I think it's 2 or 3 of the plates in them. And this is I thought it was 42 by 42 cube, the 42 by 42 cube, and this is, I think, a 42 by 42 by 24. So it's this takes up more space than this. They also need to be connected with wires and some other stuff. But the main thing is that these plates can have code written on them, and it's executed. So each line is executed at the speed of 0.2 per second. So every line is executed after 0.2 seconds after each other. So for example, if I do num equals 1, and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then num equals 0, that means that after a second, so this will switch num on from on and off every second. So num will be on, the second later num will be off, second later num will be on again. I think it's actually like this, because this is the fifth line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's that. So these are, yeah. And there are, I thought, 3 kinds of, let me check, roller chip. Where is it? Where is it? So there are 3 different chips. So if I go into the chip, why is it not here? Huh. But yeah, if I quickly
Intro this theme to have it on YOLOL chip to here's the way the butters useful start be port YOLO for doing what change this that just and do no program confuse play with top selection of functions.
So you have a basic one, an advanced one, and a professional one.
More advanced ones can perform more complex operations.
So, and the last one can do arcos and cos and like your I think it's here somewhere. Like, yeah, here, professional. And then modulo exponent is equal to... Okay, that's oh, the absolute value of, yeah, okay. Factorials, and also the square root. That's all in the advanced. And then only the sinus, cosinus, and asin, acos, and atan are in the professional. Now, something special. The community, and this is credit where credit due. So at Starbase you also have how do they call it, companies, which are basically guilds or houses in CB. And then you have factions. Factions are bigger overarching environments. So these would be like in CB you have a alliance, but yeah, in this case the alliance can be of multiple groups. Now in there, in you have normally 2 of them. I think it's the Empire and the Kingdom that are the default ones that are put in by Starbase themselves for just having already some factions into the game. Now you also have a faction called the Collective. I think they actually have a page on them on the wiki. It's fine. The Collective is a tech-focused faction, which is it's supposed to R&D and do stuff for practically everybody. And for themselves, you can literally kind of see them as like a hive mind, but they're not a hive mind. So hey, so yeah, that's a fun one. Now they made a system, and then I need to see it, called the ISAN system. And I think and look it up here. Yeah, ISAN. So ISAN is an open source ship navigation system that is using YOLOL. So with YOLOL, I think I'm gonna just quickly get the machines and devices tab again open. So we have these navigational receivers and also transmitters, the radio transmitters. These two can read stations or can read the transmitters of each other, and these are directional. But this also means that, for example, if you have like one rotator running around and you have like multiple of these transmitters, that you can triangulate your position if you have some filled positions. So what ISAN is they made a system where it can calculate in the least amount of code, and they like heavily are indeed on this, where it can find your position at a relatively quick speed. And they have a monocore and a quad core. The monocore is like accurate if you're like, it's very compact. It's compact thing that you can have, but it's not as accurate as the quads one moved. So, and then you have the quad core, which is what the quad core is about, is that you have 4 of the navigational receivers instead of 1. But it's practically the same script even. But it means that you like actually have a lot more precision and a lot quicker the update, because I think it needs to seek the station that, or all the stations. It needs to have checked the distance to all the stations once before it knows the actual output position, and 4 is a lot quicker than 1 on finding the stations where they are. And then you can also, with some extra stuff, you can also get some modules, which is a velocity, and then a universal orientation calculation, momentum, heading and pitch when flying straight. Okay, that's cool. And then also waypoint navigation system, and gets the direction towards it. So you can then take your heading and align it to a specific direction automatically, so that you can have waypoints. Now, with this system, this is the base system on which you can program a automatic mining, automatic ship transport over a larger scale than in between 2 receivers. Because you can already say, okay, this is 2 receiver, and then just manipulate that to know where you need to go. That's a very easy way to do that. And then they already have some put in known transmitter locations put in. They also made the star map. So this is a star map. So this is also in the game. You have this really big planet, and then the scale of this is just humongous. So I saw in the video they flew. What was it? I think they flew to that state outpost there with like ships that can fly practically at max speed. It still took them like 20 minutes to get there. It's crazy. And so they start origin station here, and then they flew all the way there. Just far away, super far away. But yeah, so these are like all the waypoints and stuff like that. And yeah, distance times and starting point, for example, from origin station to signal of outpost is 11 minutes at max speed. I think they were flying more, something like this, 20 minutes. But yeah, there's 11 minutes to get there. Also, YOLOL is not perfect. This is the Ison limit. So, because of how the calculation works, this is the limit on before Ison stopped working. Yeah, 1,000 kilometers. It's because of the calculation and how the calculation works in Ison. I actually can show you guys that. Okay, so what Ison does, this is the architecture as the plants. But the main thing where we have that limit comes in is this number. So to get the distance, what it does is it creates a signal strength. It gives you back a signal strength. Now the signal strength goes from, I guess it is like 99999 to 0 when you're outside of that range. That also means that like your system is not going to work beyond that range. There's no way it's going to work beyond that range. I think it might even be earlier because you need more receivers, or you need more signal. Oh no, actually, because the receivers are on your end. But yeah, they created a very cool system here, and then optimize this like hell. I'm very happy that this is already done and we don't need to do this. Now, for getting automated transport and like automated mining bots, the idea that I'm having, and like for mining bots, what we can easily do is just pick up the entire asteroid, because so if I go to devices, and these rangefinders will also be handy. So what we can do is, there are these, I now need to find them. So one thing you can do is a cargo log frame. I'm actually also gonna open up because I want to see some stuff from that. And then you also need, or what you also can use is cargo beams. So cargo beams is one of the easier ways. So what you can do is, for example, you have you are going around in space, and you suddenly see an asteroid. You can like go to it, save that location, and then maybe also your heading if you know it. What you then can do is, like, for example, say that and have a bot, which I'm still a little bit questioning about, because I think you will need to babysit it, because I don't think they can fly on their own. I'm not sure about that. It might be able to, and if it's able to, then it will be hectic as fuck. But hey, it'll be fun. So what you can do is, with these cargo beams, they need to be at least 90 degrees like rotated from each other. So if I quickly open a, what will I use for this? Actually, in order to think of it, no, I want to say no problem. Spain.net. That's good enough for my needs. So if you have one plate over here, you need to have a plate over here. And also, so if this is, for example, coming from a corner bit, so if this is our axis, you also need one over here. So you need to have these at least 90 degrees rotated. These are blocks. I'm super bad at drawing anyways. But that's fine. So there always needs to be like 90 degrees between each. So we have like a triangle of blocks. How is the best way to show this? Kind of on the 3D editor. So I'm gonna open Unity. Just so I kind of show you guys better. Because oh no, actually I have a better way to show you. Without needing to open Unity. Nice. So for example, patch. So what we will have is and I think it won't work instantly like this. I want somebody to test this, to be honest. But if you so and then no, not face block there. Now we can do face. Now we have block again for that side. And then face. So what you might be able to do, this can be like made smaller by just going like this. But what you have then is, for example, if you have so the black is, for example, the cargo beams. So for example, if you have cargo beam here, and in this case, cargo beam here, they need to have at least 3 cargo beams locked. In order for the cargo beam to lock onto objects and be able to lift or otherwise move them, at least 3 cargo beams should hit the target. The desired object from different directions. Beam should simultaneously hit the object from at least roughly 90 degrees difference from each other. So yeah, if it's a die-shaped cube, the cargo beam should at least 3 different sides. So this is what I have here. These will hit like this direction. Quickly. Make it pretty bright. The beams will do something like this. So any object that is hit by these 3 lines should be fine. Now we can make this smaller. So for example, we could, put I'm here, and here, or maybe a little bit bigger. Now this is easily to put on 2 sides of a ship, and if that ship has enough thrust and enough power generation, it can move that object pretty far. The only downside is it uses 0.002 electricity per each kilogram, and the mass locked by the beams are evenly distributed between the beams. So 150,000, so 1,500 kilogram cargo, but stress 3 lock beams by 500 kilogram per beam. Each beam would consume 1 electricity. Yeah. So you also need to keep that in mind, because these things are attached to your physical ship. You're jerking against something on maybe stressful points of your ship at that moment of time. So you also need to consider that when like moving around items. So this is like one of the problems that I'm having now is that we cannot test this in ship form. And how big of a like can a support be anyway shape or form? Big question here. But first thing that we need to do before this, because we can also have mining lasers, have robots actually mine the asteroid instead of not mine it. Because there are mining lasers. If I go to here, mining. You have mining lasers and you have an ore collector. So what you can have is just have a go up to the asteroids and then with the detector just go over the entire asteroid and just pick it all up. That's not really a problem. It does mean that you actually have like a lot more equipment in my opinion. But what you do have is that it collects it instantly in a form that you don't need to process it. You can just sell it and it's in boxes. A little bit handier to manage in my opinion than the big ass products that you have in space. Now, what we can do here. So, because this execution is only like this, I first want to make something that can, you give it a station or like a position to go to, and it actually will like align the ship to go to that position. That is like one of the first things that I want to do. But for that, this is just basic vector math. We need a heading because we can get the heading already. ISON has that covered. We can get the heading from your position to destination and get the directions towards it. Now, what I want to know is if we, for this here, let's see. Okay, that's a funny one. The docs do not comply to the Google. Okay, that is fine. That is totally fine. Because we also have the documentation here, anyways. Add-on modules. Okay, progress. Nothing. Fun. Lighthouse update. What will that be? Oh, cool. Well, sometimes into a special like lighthouse like node, aka guiding minimal components on the ship. Ooh, cool. Course the recorded expect the ship with dev transmitter scanner. Network lights are smart coverage. Okay. 2, 3 core modules. Access processor. Use access constraint to and the receiver signal to calculate the position of the ship on one axis. Ship will have 3 of these multi-chip version of a position processor. What I am, because even the Duo still has one, because what we have is, if I take a look at what is it, YouTube. So we have YOLOL Design. So the basic
ISAN is a navigation system for ships and starbase. It uses transmitted signals to calculate your X, Y, and Z coordinates.
So installing ISAN Mono. So this is the one.
Receiver, advanced YOLO chip,
Yeah, advanced YOLO chip.
text panel.
And the text panel.
Receiver,
And then you need to set some stuff up.
text panel.
Pause,
This
pause.
is the code from the ISAN.
This is where they get the code from. Just quickly gonna look through this. You have the locations, the names of the signals. Okay, these are the determinants. Put in, yeah, okay, link document in the. Yes, okay. Public release. Velocity add-on. Okay. Oh yeah, that's just how fast we are going. Universal orientation. I think is an angle through the XY plane from 0 to placing your yacht to the right, away from areas. It's towards areas. Diagram, cool. Okay, that's clear. 0, 360, 90, 180. And that needs a professional. So this is only from when your ship is always pointing straight up, because then you know and they also have the pitch, and that is probably, yes, that's what I thought it was gonna be. It's good to have standards for this, believe me, because otherwise it's just hell. But this is what we need, because this defines our direction that we're going at, and we can correct that direction by adjusting this is some easy stuff, to be honest. Because if we go to the devices, we have a... Okay. Okay, cool. So you have these two together. So you have an FCU, a flight control unit. And then you also have a main flight computer. So those two together can control a ship in going forward, backwards, or rolling, yaw, and other stuff, and also going left and right. Now, something I want to first write in here is a way that we can send a ship from position A to position B. No collision detection avoidance, nothing else, just from A to B to C, hopefully. that can also take in a heading. Why I also want to take in a heading is so that if you want to, for example, land on a spaceship or a space station or whatever, that you can give the heading with. Otherwise, so for example, otherwise if you have, for example, this is like an area that you need to fly into. If your ship is like rotated like this and it needs to go into like a very space closed off area, for example, if it needs to go into this, but your ship is at the moment like pointed down because you are coming from above. You don't just want to move that direction, right? So what you want to do is instead is also have on the waypoints a direction, so that instead of it being this, and I think that it is more like this. I know how close this is, but that's fine. And it's more like this, even though it came from up, it is like this. And that it fixes its orientation more to the end of your transmission so that it can just go forward. Also, I'm thinking of maybe not using the MFC because is there velocity dampening? Or is it like because I know we have dampening, but is that because of the main flight computer? Or is that of the game actually dampening us? Do we have some kind of resistance? But in space, we shouldn't have. Right? Now, I think it has dampening, and so that you still need to use your engines constantly when you're flying. It's something I'm gonna test out, see how that works when I have access to the game, because I don't know that. Okay, but the flight control unit and the main flight computer, those are made for the game, so we can easily use them also, because I think if you go to the flight control unit, for example, you can say that it needs to go forwards from 0 to 100, backwards from 0 to 100, then in place, pitch, yaw, and roll. Also, it can move the ship straight up, straight down, straight right, straight left. And then rotation combined to forward, backward pitch. Rotation combined to forward. I'm a little bit confused on these, because I've never seen them in yet, and I really don't know why you would use those. Like, these are handy. Up and down, left and right is handy for aligning yourself, and there's strafing basically in all 6 degrees of freedom strafing. So yeah, those are those. Now, I'm really thinking of also music. Oh, don't like that song. Also I need to go there. I don't know. Also I want to look here. Back a sec. Okay, let's not be in there. Let's also not be in there. Let's just be. That's actually fine. So the main thing, so we can easily use this because you can say rotational pitch, rotational yaw, rotational roll. Roll, I hope you'll never use. So we only need pitch and yaw. Do not need roll. Roll is handy for normal players, but roll is always difficult to get anyways. And roll is really, I feel, mainly used to just have that little bit of extra maneuverability and viewing range, but because YOLOL does not work with that anyways, it's I think better that we don't have it. Because it could mess up a lot of stuff anyways. Because you're heading with like a roll, if your heading can point in a specific direction, but if you change your roll, if your up is not up anymore, then you have a problem. That's one of the main issues there, that you just don't know what up anymore is, because up is relative to anything. And because here we have already said what up is. Up is that direction. That is up. Now we're in space, so up is relative. It's we're happy that we're like right next to a planet, so we can see what up is, but that might not be the case. And waypoint navigation system. What is this? Is an add-on going to either going to trust an easy using it in conjunction with the user makes it easy to point to destination. Destination simply change the value of the x, the y, the z field, the memory field to the x, y, and z of your destination. It's recommended that you put memory chip in with the more accessible professional chip and a new text panel. Make sure that you're both connected. Memory chip. So they have a once you're all set, specifications X, Y, and Z, clock pulse tells the add-on when their outputs, their data, and loop back to the beginning. 1 on the last line in the core modules and 0 on the first line on the okay. Number from 0 to 4, representing the number of signal receivers that happen. So what you can do, for example, is with this clock pulse, if CL is equal, what we can do here is if CL is equal to 1, then go to 2, else go to 1, and so now this will only run if the clock pulse is active. So here we know for sure that X, Y, and Z are filled in. choice. It must be read on or before the third line of your add-on. Because why that is a fact? This is a thing because of where is it? This. Because of this. The processors. That's why. The 2 minus done. I'll go to 1. L equals 1, so this setup only runs once. ST equals 1. We'll go to 2, otherwise this doesn't run, and these doesn't matter. And here we actually start modifying in both cases X, Y, and Z. So yeah, and then the XE is used in these. So we want to have them done before the third line because of this, of these ones. Because everything is in sync. Like if you spawn in a ship, all those YOLO codes will run at the same time, you know? And this is the API from adding add-ons. Now what I'm thinking here is the webpack notification system is an add-on that makes going to else under the system. This one. Yeah. Using this, it makes it easy to point towards the destination. To enter the destination, simply change the value of the XTYZ. Okay, the professional chip. And then the destination, panel value to destination. Yeah, it's bigger than... Okay, but I'm trying to first understand all the system internally so I know what to expect. Because these are all strings. Okay, so what it's doing here is then heading is and then the atom, that is just a basic HR or the direction calculation. And that's then your heading, the rest of the heading calculation stuff. Using the system makes it, point towards it. That is what I first want to do, make something that can point and then fly to the specific direction. Like an actual auto fly. Point in the direction towards it. Communication. Yeah, that will make our life so much easier. I think we have that on a little project. That would be nice. Also, what you could easily do, and this is a little bit stupid, but I'm thinking of a better system for this, is a way to waypoint, actually go from A to B on waypoint side of level, is because we have a pretty long ass lines here. What we, for example, could have is that we could have an internal counter, or yeah, an external counter. We say go to 1 plus this waypoint counter. This will go to, because it's at 0 at default. So go to 1, this will loop. Once waypoint counter is set to 1, it will go to this line. So what we then can say, for example, is that the destination x is, destination x is equal to a value that we want, and this needs to be, I think it was that character, and then we can say that is the maximum length of one of those. And we can use a colon, dy is equal to, just checking the length of this. So x, y, z definitely fits, like phone numbers. Z and then so this will then set our destination position. And now what we can have is because we need a bigger storage format than just, like if you want to have a list of waypoints. Okay, you could press like buttons each and from, but we need to have something that can store multiple locations in a sequence that is, let's say, not cost effective, but it's not like 1001 stuff thing. So what we can do is use this instead. So then, for example, here say, I think a space will work. Go to 1. And now we have a system in which we can I've got it on my D. I switch. New folder. This will be Starbase. Starbase, and this Starbase YOLO file will be the waypoint list. Oh, this is loading. That's not what I want. That I want to save it. . So now I can remove this all again. So now we need something. So we have C for okay, that's cool. Okay, and that's the close button. Finding out the little things. Finding out the little things. Can you open multiple of these EXEs? I think you can. Oh yes, you can. Ooh, cool. Because then we can load our weapons list here and then have a second one. So now we can say, so for example, if so for now we need to actually program this section. So now the destination has been set. Now what we need is a way to get from this the heading correctly. The thing is, for this, the ship needs to be moving. Otherwise you're not gonna get these values. Or I don't think so, you're gonna be able to get these values. Yeah, you need to be moving. And I think the faster you're moving, the straighter your path will be. Yeah, earn is the upper value. Okay. Okay. What I am thinking here is because this is the there's a difference between two positions that it calculates, and then from then that's why we need to be moving. So if that works every second we will know where that heading is pretty accurately, even if you're moving slowly. So I think the main thing is first to aim us correctly. How do we aim us correctly? So we have our heading, and we have our TP is the page, and then we have our destination heading and our destination page. Now, this might be the biggest question of them all. How do we know that the player is not or not? It actually doesn't matter. No, that's a good big question. Does that matter? Because does fixing, play control, does fixing our pitch and shouldn't have typical nor all actually. You should be able to do it just by pitch and yaw. This is gonna be so strange, but it'll be fine. So what we can easily do is just get the difference between our heading and the direction head. Wait, it's the heading that we want to go to. We have our own heading. It's our own heading minus the. I'm not sure of this one. But we have these two. And then we should be able to. So let's say. This is from 0 to 100, but our heading at the moment goes from 0 to 360. I kind of want to divide that by 180. Can you just use bracket? Divide them by 180. So now we have a range between 0 and 200, which is fine. That should be fine. Actually, I think because the destination is in the same, should be in the same value range as this one. I think they are set up in the same value range. So that should give me a value between, I think, 0 and 100, or minus 100 and 100 in the end. So we can set our also I want to say that our WC is active, so go to 1. WC equal to 1. Okay. So Also here we can at the end say that WC reset it once the cycle is done. We can reset it back to if WC is not equal to 0, then we can align ourselves by these two. So our pitch should be equal to this. Or yeah, I think I can just say or FP or FY or FCY, FCP. And I think this one we need to divide by 0.9. I think. Because we do that here to divide it by 180 to get it from 0 to 200, because 360 divided by 1.8 is 200. But there we have a value of 90, and we divide it by 0.9 to get to 100. So then the range goes from 0 to 100. I think I need to do it by 45, so it also goes to 200. Because we're working with negatives here. Like this, if this part is bigger than this part, then this will be negative. So then we'll be in the negative ranges. And like these two deltas cannot be over 90, cannot be over 200, then they go from negative 200 to, so I actually need to be there. Let's make this 360, something like that. Because then we have ranges from 0 to 100, approximately. I don't know if this is too harsh of a setting. Could be that this is way too harsh of a setting for aligning ourselves. And then we just need the distance to our position. Can we get the distance from, I think DD is our distance towards that position. So what we then can do is, or if C forward will be equal to, can we clamp a value, like take the minimum? Oh, that's a good question. Like, how do you calculate the minimum? Like, I know you can do it, but like if is something less than y, minimum. Okay. So the minimum between A and B, because why I want to do this is because I can easily divide our distance by a specific value just to tweak the landing zone. So how fast do I want to approach a specific? Because if we're going 150 units per second, which is around the same time that we recalculate everything. Also, I'm thinking of attaching this to the clock too. I really want to press enter here. You can't. That's annoying. Also, because I know that this will be fine, I'll place it on one line. Because here we need to check if our block is equal to 1. And then we can go to, need space here, go to 3 else. Guys, I want to know for sure that we have an updated position and also then direction and what they do here, this is actually something I've now seen. They do the calculations first and then setting of the values, because this is just output of data that is easier to get at that point. What I want to do is actually manipulating the ship. That's why I want to check for that. Now let's go to 2. And then here it's go to 1. I think that works. I think I could merge these 2 lines together here. And then the FCF, which is our forward. We want that to be the distance, so 80 is the distance to our target. Now I want to get the max between that and our so what we can do for that and our actual dist and 100. Why I want that and 100 is because our light control unit, this forward goes from 0 to 100. 100 being max and 0 being. So what we can do is also divide this by a variable that is divided by. Also, I need to create a local variable for that. Distance equals 80 divided by, let's say, 1,000. So now, like, kilometers. Oh no, that's too much. Going at full speed is too little. I think that might be fine. So we add 100 to it, plus the... I think we can take the ABS? Yes, ABS. Of the minus or 100, and then we go and divide that by 2. That's the maximum calculation. Do we need a space in after that? Can we have that like that? I think we do. And that looks like a function call, but it is not. That's a funny thing. This looks like a function call, but it is not, because it's a mathematical equation calculation of this line, which then equates to something. But that's the minimum calculation, so it will be the minimum between the, which is our D in this case, not our DD, and 100. So it will always be a maximum 100. These I'm not really worried about if they go over, because they can't anyways. We might need to crank them up a little bit. Like those values need to be, this value need to be tweaked and this value need to be tweaked so that or this calculation here needs to be tweaked so that we can get a little bit of a correct like rotation and stuff like that on it. Put the 1. I think this should give us forward and going towards a position. Now, what I want to add to this is if our is less than like what the accuracy of this thing. I will now put it on like 10. Then what do we do then? What do we do then? Then I want to go to the next waypoint, actually. So now how can I think? I think I can put this on this line. Yes. Go to 1, let me see. WC is not equal to 0. CL is... Now I need to merge these two lines here. Also, can we put... Yes! this system here, like the YOLO can be self. Can it? No, it cannot. Because I don't think what it can do is putting code inside of YOLO chips. I think it can create YOLO chips in the end with the factory, create chips, but I don't think it can put the code inside of the YOLO chips. No pastebin functionality, no. Would be strange in here, anyways. But what we can do is, like, at the moment I'm making a waypoint system. Oh, that is so strange. Also, the funniest thing is that this Phi AI is I don't have access to this game. It's all just thinking it how something could work, designing it, and then when early access is testing it. Or when I get a key. I signed up for the closed alpha, but it's hoping, because I like the freaking, and this is made by an how is it called? Made by somebody on the forums. And I've by the way, Starbase, I'm quickly gonna what is, no, I'm thrilled, why not? To give you a visual on how the game is a little bit. Okay, nice. But yeah, then you kind of know what the game is about. But yeah, I'm thinking of doing auto miners is something I want to get towards. But yeah, the main problem there is already solved. Is location, which they have something for. It's called ISAM, which they have such a cool trailer for. I found this a trailer. Integrated system for autonomous navigation.
ISAM is a navigation system for ships in Starbase. It uses transmitted signals to calculate your X, Y, and Z coordinates.
So this is not in the default game. This does not exist. The whole reason that this can exist is because you can triangulate your position for locations in space. And they made an entire system that with already predefined coordinates can calculate within a second where you are. Yeah, so they made a real GPS, yes. And like, if you can see, so this is their docs page, the main docs page of that. So what they have is the introduction, and this is what they at the moment are in development of. I'm making one myself, kind of. But yeah, they have like these three in the origin, makes it so that you can calculate every place, and because those are stationary anyways, they cannot move, but they have GPSs, like they have radio towers. And this is like 1% accurate. Within 10,000 meter accuracy is around so much, but they say minus 1% because if you go way out, then the accuracy decreases. And yeah, you can go 1,000,000 meters out, like 1,000 kilometers. So yeah, this system is really nice. It is super compact. Like they use 10 of these lines, 11 of these lines. Yeah, 11 of these lines to calculate, and then 11 of these lines they calculate your position from the systems. That is crazy. That is literally crazy. Okay, no problem. And I think that accuracy is also like, right? Yeah, it's within 1% of the total distance, so that can be a little bit off. It's not super precise. Decently though. I mean, 1% open to 1. That's actually really precise for what we have. But so technically this should be able to go from waypoint to waypoint without having any like obstacle avoidance or anything like that. Because the main problem is that, so for example, if I go to the star map, anything from this border out, till like here, because this is the ice limit, everything in here, that's our asteroids. Not to say maybe all the ships, not to say space stations floating around. So you need some kind of obstacle avoidance on the ship, at least for going forward. And I'm kind of thinking of, and this might be a good one, if you have, because you won't be able to do it with, make a virus. How are you gonna make a virus? Like a bot that like listens to radio signals and like tries to go for them and then just shoots? Something like that. You mean moons? And secondly, I don't think you can break planets. I don't think there is anything planetary scale in here. There are asteroids that you can move around. And they can be big. I don't think there are planets that you... That you can do. That you can do. That you can definitely do. And I mean, technically, you can let a rail create more of the rail, or have a rail. This is something hilarious. So what you can do is have a... Okay, I need to show you this. Wait, I just thought of something, and why that might work is if you have let me go to the new page here, a because what you have is you have rail devices. And then you have these relays, but you also have just rails. And normally they're used for factory lines. I think what you can do is put on here a bolter and a moving tool. And then with some YOLO code, what you can write is so that it picks up the rail behind itself, unbolts it, picks it up, goes to the other side, places it down, bolts it down, goes forwards. And just continuously keep doing that and then just have something else in between. I think you can spoof it. Because what can happen is if you... Because you know how so what this... and this, so only one person needs to do this and this is all broken. What you can do is have a sender. So you can have in the device list that are these where are they? Radio transmitters. So you can put a radio transmitter that sends out because the transmitters send out the string. Now, if you do send out the string station underscore HQ underscore imperial underscore A, put it on a ship, move that around, this system won't know which signal is. So yes, you can jam and spoof it, and that jamming and spoofing is system-wide. That is the biggest issue here. If you do that, you can cause a war, I'm sure of it. Because let's say, I think by now, 50 to 70% of all the ships are using this system. Yep. You can just turn it on for like a quick second, have somebody like go to, for example, the QH Kingdom underscore A. If the player is on automatic pilot, it will be able to go to you instead. Because literally you're warping space. Because that's what you're doing, you're warping space. Because I think it's gonna take the closest one. But yeah, and that's a problem with the system, but I kind of think that if you do that, yeah, people are gonna hate you like hell. But that's also gonna be a problem. If people do that in the safe zone, that's gonna be problematic. So that's why setting up your beacons and then listening to your own encrypted signals is gonna be way better. Because they don't know your codes that they send out. I mean, they can find it out, but if you have enough redundancy, because what you can do is instead of having 3 of these, or 4 of these, you can have 5, 6, 7. Safe zone is safe zone. If you crash into something in the safe zone, nothing gets damaged. At least now. From what I saw. Safe zone is safe zone. Even players, you cannot die in the safe zone. If you're outside of the safe zone, everything can get damaged and players can die. I mean, yeah, you still can. You still can. Oh, believe me, I think that gonna be systems. I mean, there are gonna be systems, I think, too, in your own stations and other stuff that you can like disable maybe plane damage, disable player damage, and stuff like that. Also, you're not gonna be alone, you know. If you suddenly have like a group of 10 people suddenly surrounding you with bigger ships than yours, even in the safe zone, you're gonna get oppressed and you're not gonna be able to get out of it. Believe me, there are ways. There are ways to capture somebody. Yes. It's gonna require a lot of YOLOL, but yes. Or a decent amount of YOLOL, I'm gonna say. But this is the start of that. This is the start of that. Yes, YOLOL is a very basic coding language. So they have all of these functions, and then also go to an if-thens. Where do I have my if-then? If, then, else, end. And this is some code. I can make this a little bit more readable. But the main problem with YOLOL is that these are not files that I can scroll through, and they have a line limit. And the main problem with this YOLOL is that every line gets executed, or like one line gets executed at 0.2 per second. So first, this line gets executed. 0.2 seconds later, this line. Or whatever, like in this case, if WC is equal to null, then it will stay on this line. But like, and then it will go to the next line if. And there aren't, in these YOLO chips, there aren't more than 20 lines, and there aren't more than 70 characters per line. But what we do have, for example, is we have chips. Where is it? Yeah. You actually need to go and optimize your code, and actually like this line here is, that is one part. This is one part. This is a part, and this is a part. So this is like 5 lines of code, normally, that has been brought onto one line. And I'm like, how many characters? I'm at the character limit for this line. No, 1 line per 0.2 seconds. 0.2. I can leave lines empty for added extra delay. So I can, for example, go to 1. And so this go to, if I remove it, then it will take a second before it will go to 1. So like even empty lines get executed. And this, normally the YOLO code only runs once. But you can get multiple chips, yeah. But the YOLO code also only gets executed once, unless you put a goto in. And then the goto will go to 1, will loop back, and that's how you make loops. And technically what you can do, for example, is, for example, I have a system here with multiple chips interacting with each other. So the W or if you have two dots. No. So the go-to gets executed and then your instruction counter is reset. And then only on the next tick, it will execute the next line. So technically, like this here, I would want there. That would be better. But I still need to move this here. So you can always end your lines with a go-to and then have it happen. So you don't lose that extra line. Let's see ya. Okay. Now for this. So if C block is 1, then go to 3, let's go to 2. A little bit of spacing doesn't really matter. So and then make this a 1 and this a 2. And then and WC is not equal to null. Doesn't this work? I think this works. If I put this in here. That should be everything for aligning and going to a position. I think I can merge it though. Because I think what we can do is have this if statement here. This is my calculation. And instead of this plus plus, does the plus plus get executed before or after? Okay, appends space to the string A evaluates the original value. It evaluates the modified value. So what you can do is say plus plus go to from, for example, 15 plus WC and go to 1. So this will continue running. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 waypoints that we can have. Waypoints, but like, I mean, instead of this, we can just do to 4 plus WC. Yeah, and then any waypoint you place in this stuff will be executed. And it, I think, only requires 1 outside counter, which I think I even can hold local. Oh yeah, WC, go to... Can we? I think we can run plates, right? Chips? I think we can say run another chip. Yes, I don't think there is a difference between if they're running and if they're not running. I think there is a difference between that. Something that I'm thinking. So how do we, so this is a waypoint system that works pretty nicely, but we do want some obstacle avoidance. And also maybe a way to have this code be run in tandem with different chipsets, their waypoint coordinates. Also, I'm looking for a way to maybe also integrate the heading into this, because what we can do is, for example, say that or desired heading, but this we cannot use because DH is already desired waypoint heading is equal to 90 or to 0, for example, and or desired waypoint yaw is equal to 0. I think we can, because this is a max value of 360 with 3 zeros, and is it yaw is a minus 90 with 3 zeros. So that's perfect. That fits. So technically we could add the heading and the yaw in the waypoint system easily. I'd still use the same like waypoint trigger system. Because why we need this, that it also autocorrects the heading, and the other thing is for maneuvering and being able to make sure that your, how do you call it, your ships can actually be like manipulated in a good way. I had this example. So for example, if you're coming from top down, then normally your spaceship will be pointing in that direction because you're going forward, right? Now, to enter this bay, this ship needs to be like this. So this is why in the waypoint system, I want a desired heading and yaw So it can actually enter things like this. So it knows that it can like go in there. We could do this with a little bit of math and like, because detectors should be able to kick you off of this side here. And then like see when you're going towards it that it bumps you off and that it actually slides you in and rotates you over. Could do it that way, but for that to work you need very skinny long crafts. I mean, most of the people have that, but still a little bit against it. Also, you don't know how much rotation you can do in some situations. I think on the waypoints that should be calculated in somehow. Also, why for automated systems people will probably be using very long round shapes. And this is something I'm kind of predicting that will happen. Is or obstacle avoidance can work really well with that. Is a roll. People will not want to use the roll in any way, shape, or form, and I think that's gonna make some things hard. Because I cannot even add roll in here. But it's also so that we don't know what roll is in our world. And I know that sounds strange, but we only know what forward is by calculating. I mean, technically we could calculate the roll of an object. Because we have the forward. We have the forward, we have two positions. So technically we could calculate the up with... No, we can't. No, we can't, because we would need a right for that, or an up of the spaceship. We can't. Oh no, we can. Technically we can. If you say instead of going forward, instead of having this do the work of actually going forward, let it just go up instead. Then we will get the velocity direction in the upwards direction. Because, where is it? If I go to the ISIN page, the universal orientation calculation momentum calculates your heading and pitch while moving in a straight line. Yes, but I think it thinks that you're moving forward. Not upwards. Because if you're moving upwards, then this, because this is this will just calculate your angle. That's actually, how is that one doing it? Because this calculates your destination heading, destination. Wait. These are values that you get out. So it gets your destination heading and destination the other value. But I'm so bad for names. pitch. Yes, pitch. So your heading and your pitch, and then the distance to the object, which is why you need to actually go to an object. But you don't need yaw, because of most chips, that should be fine. Now, I'm really thinking on how we can incorporate yaw in this. Because I know most chips, if you have the ability to strafe right and left and up and down, then you also have the ability, we go to the device thingies. Where is it? Where is it? Why am I not here? Yeah, okay, flight control unit. I already had it open. God damn it. So in the advanced and premium, you have up and, but you always have yaw, actually. So yeah, you can always rotate yourself over your roll. Actually, is the one. You have your pitch and yaw. It's your roll that is the problem. Of your own axis rotation, because that translates your up direction to a different place, like to an actual different angle. You can technically also do that with yaw and pitch, but hey, it would be nice if we can make sure that spaceships always point up compared to the space station when going into a space station. That would be nice. Now, for example, also if we go into like landing and then landing pad, there's like a little bit offset, like rotated, like my head is now. If your landing pad is like this, that it actually like goes this direction instead of going that direction, because otherwise that wouldn't work. So yeah. I'm really thinking if that, I mean, there should be a good way to calculate it. But what I want to know about the ESON is if I do the calculations, if I just look at the calculations, for me this looks like, because this O we can ignore because that's our output. Our distance is just the square root calculation for the distance. So our x, y, and z here are our delta values, which they are. It's literally the deltas, and then we square root the thingy, so that is the length of that vector. So that's the distance to the object that you want to go to. Then our heading is a correction. So is our vector, is our delta vector, which has our heading in it. And then I think the Q and yeah, and the rest is just to fix, so it's in line with this and this. So that one and that one. And then DP, so your pitch is that really the length of your 2D plane divided by the z-axis? Oh yeah, that's true. Oh wow, okay, cool. That's cool. I always forget this one. This is a thing. Oh yeah, okay, I see why, because we normally have, okay. Normally it's put in here. By the way, why this seems logical to me is because of the amount of times that I needed to draw circles and other things in shaders. That's why this code is pretty natural to me, because for getting from a point in an XY system, a angle, and stuff like that, you actually need this pretty often. Then for this, so this now should go from waypoint A to waypoint B, but I kind of want to add this, and also, but I mean, I think we are able to ignore those digits, just work on flat degrees, and then we're able to actually add why am I, this is not, this needs to be an equal. Destination waypoint. We have your heading. So your pitch, your yaw, and your roll. Oh no. It's actually the heading, pitch, and your roll. Because heading is a thing for yaw. Yes. Yes. No, the roll, yeah, roll can be between 0 and 360, I think. Which I think solidly fits in. I like when that works out. So yeah, we can add that up to a degree of accuracy, which to be honest is fine. And if we want, we could have it to 0.1. No, because 3. But that would remove 2 of these, so we can have accuracy up to a 100. So a decim. If this is meters, yes, decimeter, up to a decimeter of accuracy. If we want a percentage or a degree of 0.1 accuracy, we could remove 2 zeros here and add 0.1 here, 0.1 here. Like if we, which would make it a little bit more normal, like straightforward. Because the thing is that our position is way more accurate, and that's why I wanted to include that. I don't know how accurate our heading. Actually, our heading should be a little bit less accurate than our position, but really not by much. Like those should be decent, like pretty much of the same accuracy anyways. I'm thinking, are there situations where you come in that you need less than a decimeter of precision in ship flight, for a waypoint system? I don't think so. Because the main thing that this should do is bring you to a landing pad, a altar zone, where you will then switch over to, if you're doing everything via, how is it called? Via YOLO, you should actually be using like the detectors. Where are they? The devices here. You should be using resource collector, rangefinders. So that's that. What's the range on a rangefinder, actually? Oh, 1,000 meters, so kilometers. Ooh, that's nice. That's actually really nice. Let me see. Think about this. And the distance. Because yeah, after this system, this could be, for example, and you can easily activate this by, I guess, setting WC to not 0. But what you can also do is just activate, I think, the script. Because I think you can you? This is actually a question that I already have had. What can you in a YOLO script activate another YOLO script? Like, what does the chip have as chip weight? Does the execution, if it pass script near 0 means script being executed and any button continue after the amount of lines. Okay. So you can let chips wait. But it's after. This is a question that I actually have. I will need to see if there's somebody streaming. Starbase. Let's see. No, I'm the only one. Ah, okay. That's annoying. If there might be like a way to know. By default, unlock the screen. Yes, but they only run once, right? It's the biggest question that I have at the moment. If they only run once, we could keep them running like this. Let me just relook at the Starbase. Actually, what is it called? YOLOL.
Operations, like trigonometry. Hello everyone and welcome to another Starbase video. This video is an introduction to the world of YOLOL. YOLOL is Starbase's very own programming language, which is at the core of what enables Starbase's creativity. YOLOL is what is used to control and manage the vast variety of Starbase's different devices, such as doors, lamps, elevators, rail movers, tractor beams, even spaceships and factories, and anything else you can imagine. So, wanna know how to make your ship fly on autopilot? Or program your battleship to have a controlled aiming system? Have robot arms do your bolting for you? Or maybe build your own manufacturing line for ship parts? Well, after watching this video, you'll know how to get started with all that and more, as they are all achieved with the use of YOLOL. YOLOL code is written and executed on YOLOL chips, which are movable containers for YOLOL scripts. In order for your YOLOL script to work, the chip needs to be placed in a chip socket, which is used to connect it to the device you wish to control, as well as a power source. A chip that is connected to a device has access to all the devices in the same network. The chip has multiple lines that you can write your script on, and when you press play, it starts reading the lines in a loop from top to bottom, spending 0.2 seconds per line. The green flashing text indicates which line it's currently executing. As for how to get started with writing a YOLOL script, here are the basics.
So yeah, even if you're writing it, it's executing. Oh. That I didn't know, it's executing. Yeah. Because you had to go to one. That's okay. That's totally fine. Oh, this is a pretty nice system though. Only if we need this to get to work. The heading. Because I think that is when we have arrived at less than 10 meters. I think we, at that moment of time, can already like go. Also, would I want... Kinda want this. Okay, go down. It should be fine. I don't know how much the damping is. Like, there's a lot of uncertainty here because I don't know how much the damping is. I don't know how much, like if you're going at top speed, like the 150, how fast does your ship need to slow down to get to that value? And this will be something that is like per ship dependent, that you will need to play around with yourself a little bit. So that is a problem that we already have with this stuff. And actual cars in real life also have this problem, like with automatic steering and stuff like that. Like, how far do you stay away from the car in front of you? How fast do you brake? How fast do you accelerate? And in electric cars with like that management that it does automatically for you, we can tweak those settings a little bit to make the car feel more natural to your own driving behavior. It still will stop and go to the position that you want to, but it might do it a little bit smoother if you tweak those values depending on what you have. And it might be that it overshoots if you change these values too little or too much. So that is something we will need to see. Quickly gonna go to the toilet. But I am liking this already. I mean, I'm already liking that we have a basic waypoint system. At least in mind. But the first thing that I want to do is make this system here with those waypoints a little bit more, how do we say this, accessible. Because, so what we can do is, for example, have the coordinates. First things first, I want to have these chips that set these. This being a different chip. So we can, this is a solo, so I can quickly save this as the waypoint lists solo chip. Oh, this is loading off. So this is the solo chip one. So this is just if you want one list. And what I can now see is if we can have it so that you can activate it via a button and also deactivate it via a button. So, and I think I can just say and waypoint active. I mean, waypoint active we could just set to a specific value here. So set this to non-null to 1, and then we already launch our coordinates. So that should already work. If you set WC to 0, so if you toggle it off, then it's so cool that actually already works. So yeah, WC works as a toggle like that. It also counts. Okay. So this system is pretty nice in that way. And we can easily say, okay, go to that position, that position, that position, and then it just goes to that position by itself. Now, what I do want to do maybe is make this compatible with the standard thing, so it's just plug and play. That might be nice. Yeah, let's do that. Because at the moment it's not like that. And it's just because those names are long. Actually, and because other stuff could be working with these values, you know. Page. Yeah. And forwards. Now this is only usable outside of the station and nowhere usable inside of the station. Just no way it's gonna go alright. No way. No way. So now this works for that. But actually also go to. Yeah, just was looking a little bit for a quick sec. There was some talk about the not equal operator, which I do not use here. But there's a difference between this one and this one. This is the inequality, and this is the not. I know that this is inequality, so this will result in a boolean, while this is the not operator. There's a difference there. Now, how do we get or this needs to be 6 now. But this is actually very useful already. Because here you can just say press a button, switch WC over. from 0 to 1. Now I'm thinking, because why the set values work. Device tracks, yes, can hold 3. Yep, please. Oriented to the chip placing user. Live editing of the chip placed within useful additive for to writing the chip socket when used on the fly. It would be funny if these socket cores, if these ones here, you can't just bolt, because they have a bolted thingy, right? Can't you just bolt this to the freaking side and then not use these racks? Or do these ones only work in a rack? Because you're like, this one, yes, this one you need to place in the rack, otherwise you cannot connect it. But these ones, they're really stupid. But can I sit on sit off sit? So these current state, on state, off state. Oh, okay. But button style, I think that's a copy paste. Because that looks like the YOLOL thing for the button, not for a module device track. Don't actually know if they actually have that. But either way, let me actually take a good look at. No, I already have devices open. A memory chip. Because you can change the field name. Although it might be right. So, when assembly inside the chip with failures. Activity. So yeah, and the only thing that they have is a field name and then a range. But how much data can you put inside of a range value? Has anybody tried that out? Has anybody tried that out? How much data you can put inside of the string value? Because you can put string values in there. How long can that string be? Because we can put like /ns in there. Like line characters. How long can that still be? The reason I want to know is if we can change it. So although that code execution will be slower than this, that is true. Way slower than this, I would say. Even harder than we already have. But yeah, no, the easiest way, by the way, is to link these up together, is to have just a public variable that you can read out if it's equal to, for example, 1, and execute the script. And then here you just increase that value at the end, just increase that value. That will go to the, and in the next step you have just if that is equal to 2, then go to 2, else go to 1. And then you can extend your chips. You lose 2 spots, but you get 18 more lines to execute. And then you're only using 1 chip field for it. Then you can execute multiple lines and things. But it's better to run things in parallel anyways, so I'm not really worried about that. Like we have parallelization instead that we can use. Now, the only thing that I might want is a system where we have one of these, but have multiple waypoints. Because we can easily change this name here and then have multiple like fields edit that value, because we can, for example, have 10 waypoints in here. Then WCs, for instance, so we have 10 waypoint lists, which you can individually access via button. And maybe even that we could change up. Because you can't change the description. But yeah, you will still need all of these. And then put in all of the... can we into the name? No, right? Only for go-tos you can do that, but you cannot, I think, change this here in any way, shape, or form. This always will need to be static. I mean, the main thing here that we still need to change is these values and the system on how to tweak them. That's a basic. For a collision avoidance system, it's actually also pretty easy. For sure, if you have like a rangefinder raising up, forward, backwards, right, left, and down, then a basic collision avoidance system is pretty easy to make. Also in here, what we need is for sure a forward one. One where we don't allow the angle to ever get into the way. The only change that I'm asking myself another question is if this pitch gets set, does the steering lever override that system like instantly? Or if we set this, if you don't touch the sticks or press any buttons, will that system override this? Because else the WC will also need to like prohibit that from happening. Last thing of sharing should always do the wait to loop continuously on that line until C1 equals 1, which should output the and return start of your add-on. See the velocity add-on for example. Yeah. Can you just click and then it goes to the velocity add-on? I press. Oh, and this just worked with the previous. Yeah, this just worked with the previous value. What we could do. This is actually something nice that we could do. Is also have an output value. So you know how we have the WC as our change value, which they also have here, the VV. This is for code. That is also for code. And they know on which waypoint we are. And they can write the X and the Y and the Z for our position. Now, can we do the same? Like, can we add a waypoint name? And then we have how many characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 90 characters. Fitting 19 characters, which is pretty nice. And that is actually it, because once it's here, and then it will, then you know where it will go to. So for example, we could say origin station. If I go here, origin station here, origin station. For example, we could say also if you for sure remove zeros. So delivery zone, that's that, okay. But you can just drop an asteroid in and then it will sell it. For example, if we say, okay, go to 0, 0, 0, you could change this to but for example, you could place this waypoint like in the middle of the station, a little bit above it. Like I don't know how where the actual like origin station 0, 0 is. But what you could do is, for example, place a waypoint like in the middle above. and then have another waypoint like there. So it automatically then also goes to that specific location. Oh my god, so now I'm thinking of turn radius and everything else that you will need to like assign values to and how fast you go to a specific point. I think your throttle will be the most important one here. And you might want to decide that here too. That's why you have this setting thing here. You can say, for example, origin station. But you can add more stuff, and I'm thinking of changing these values. And just having them as a default. Because to be honest, all these lines should be more than enough space for your waypoints, because I don't think you need like more than 5 to 6 waypoints, maybe 8 max. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can go up to 11. You still have 8 waypoints, which is more than enough, believe me. Because inside of a ship, you will use a different system. Base. There's no need to use something else inside of a ship or inside of a station, and for sure not inside of like your own stations where you actually want to have like big good areas. The thing that you could easily automate is I think the resource dropping in this section. That's the delivery zone. I think that's the easiest way to automate like asteroid collection and like mining in general. I think that's the easiest way. Because you could have it like, for example, have one towards here, one towards here, one dropping it off, or have a different subroutine for just dropping it off. And then have it go back to that point, go out, and then you just go pick it up, press a button, it flies back, goes to there, drops off, goes back out. The only thing that you still need to do is like choose the asteroid that you want to pick up and sell. The rest it will do by itself. It will take some time, but that's something you can do. Also, and this is a question that I'm so eager to have wanting to have answered. Does a tree fall when you're not nearby in Starbase? It's a question that I want to have answered. Does a tree fall when you're not in at the thing? Does YOLO code execute? Does a ship move if you're not there? It's a really big question. Wait, did somebody make a web version? Wait. Let's test this out. You have a runner, as we called it. So edit. Do you work? Apparently not. Okay. Okay, device fields. So device field would be WC. That value is 0 and it is a number. Also a number. And that's also a number. And that's also a number. And that's also a number. And then we have the X, the Y, the Z, and then the name. Because I like that feature a lot. And then DD also, and also there's another one. Oh, yeah, HH. DP. And then we have DH. And DP. Okay, acceptable. I like this a lot more. Because here you really cannot see anything. But you can't execute it. So that's a fun thing. We can run it. Okay, I'm confused by the first line already. So it's counting up WC. Yeah. And then when it's at 10, it gets back to 0 because I don't know. Oh, because it's over. Yeah, okay, 16 makes you go that. But see, L is not 1. Oh. Okay, stop it. Because it's that. Why didn't I see that here? Yeah, because now it just wait for this to be done. Yeah. STL is 1. WC is 0. I think the problem here is the is not equal to 0. Oh yeah, W is not equal to 0. Yes. Yes, that is a fact. I forgot. Okay. No, I don't like this. I like this way better. Oh, we can't see what we're doing, which is nice. I like this a lot more, just because of how that thing works over here. Also, I'm quickly gonna order them. Today we'll have a lot of fireworks, a decent amount at least, just because of what day it is today. It's 31st of December, and tomorrow is a whole other year. Okay, that's gonna be my food. Delicious. Yes, okay, now they're gonna bring it. And let's go back to VTuber. Here we go. And it has connected again. Yes, that's what I want. Because yeah, I'm using my phone for that. Now.
That's a ways away. Meanwhile, let's learn more about iSAN. iSAN is developed by Collective. It's fully public and anyone can use it. A link to the instructions and documentation is in the video description. It's modular with plug-and-play modules and an API for making your own. This initial release has 2 core modules and 1 add-on module. To be notified about future updates, go to Notifications in the Collective Discord. Link is in the video description. The mono core uses a single receiver, making it compact but less accurate while moving. The quad core uses 4 receivers, giving it excellent speed and accuracy, even while moving. The Velocity add-on calculates your speed and, like all add-ons, connects to any core. These each only need a single YOLOL chip and a shared memory chip to function. Installing iSAN Mono. You'll need a receiver, advanced YOLO chip, memory chip, and text panel. Set up the receiver, the memory chip, and then the text panel.
Oh, we also have 2 more values that we can get out.
Paste in the code from the ISAN document. Done. That's all there is to it. See the ISAN document for detailed instructions. Coordinate system. 000 is at origin station. Positive X is along the belt towards the X-shaped station. Positive Y is away from EOS out into the belt. And positive Z is perpendicular to the belt towards the sunny side. There we go. A successful navigation. We hope you enjoy ISAN. If you have any feedback or ideas, let us know in the collective Discord.
Yes. So yeah. I really want to test this out. If this works on the ship. Oh, basic collision avoidance system wouldn't be bad. The main thing is that you can only use that system, the collision avoidance system, and this is the main thing is that like the collision avoidance system will need like 1 chip per because something like that you want to run constantly. Can't speak. You don't want to have really a delay on that, do you? You want that as quick as possible, so like kind of like maybe have it in these 2 lines only of a chip. So you can like make any size of these ships. Can we look framed? Thinking like for the small things, this would be okay. You could just put it in over it and be done with it. But I feel that this is a little bit less okay. I mean, the main thing is that it's spread, right? Your this has that favorite thing. Cargo mass is evenly distributed between all cargo lock frame parts, so you can easily put this in and then have this be okay. Yeah, I actually also took take a look at the ring manipulation. Okay, so it doesn't select and it contains. And then if empty, I'm gonna pop. Because when are you gonna need it? This is way too bright. Why is this so bright? Man, can you like actually do that? Oh, that's so unreadable. You it can be so unreadable. Because what you can do is this. I don't know if this will work though. This might be valid. Oh, no. This we cannot do. We need to have a plus here. Space there. Because if we do this, it cannot distinguish between 6 or and then plus WC. So we need this or this. So we need to have the space there. But then go to, like, this is still pretty normal, the kinds that I see being a thing. But WC then, I think we need a space here, otherwise it thinks that it's the name. And not then. Go to 2, that is all fine. Let's go to 1 and is it not finding? Yes, it's not finding you. Definitely not finding me. The only thing I'm a little bit thinking about is how can we? Okay, that's all that. Like an inverse kinematic solver for industrial parts is, I think, needed. Is something we need to work on next. Because that is gonna be a problem. Bum, 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 bum. Mm-hmm. I'm really thinking like inverse kinematics shouldn't be too hard to make. Then I first want to take a look at what we already have of on our robot arms. So I mean, yeah, it's accurate, and DZ negative. The white stays a little bit off of the plate. That's a -1 to 1 explanation, but what is CX, CY? That is hella accurate. This will be down. Okay, that is hella cool. Now could we... So what do we have here? Target arm length, current arm length, and position. Start position, extension of minimum. Target velocity for telescoping movement. So, but it works with targets, so that is nice though. That works with targeting is really nice. Because that means that we only need to, that we don't need to like update it and do that side. We just need to do the, how is it called? The adverse kinematics for it. Which is fine. In my case, that's totally fine. But I'll leave it here for today. If you guys want the code, I mean, yeah, it has been on the screen for such a long time. But if you want it to test it out in game, I can send it to you. For the rest, I think we're gonna leave it here for today. And see you all in the new year. Because that is what it's gonna be in a couple of hours. Bye bye. Bye bye.